And another player I want to talk about in the NBA who is absolutely cooking. You guys know me. I can't get enough of Ben Mathurin. Why is this guy doing so well? I mean, just this week against Denver, he had 30 points. And yesterday against Toronto, he had another solid 15-point performance. And right now on the season, he's averaging 19.9 points per game, which is...
Sheesh.
Of all the people, I was high on Ben Mathurin, but I was not expecting him to do anywhere near as well as he's doing right now. And we've talked about him a bit in the past, but I want to talk to you, Jake, about why you think he's doing so much better than arguably most of these other prospects, except for maybe Paulo.
Yeah, it really is him and Paulo Banchero leading that Rookie of the Year case. But when you look at his game, he looks, more than anything, he just looks confident in every shot that he takes. And that really goes a long way. I mean, you look at Jordan Poole a couple of years ago, he has always had that confidence. And even when his game wasn't showing in the stat sheet, like he's getting dropped down to the G League Warriors, getting moved on to the main roster Warriors. But the one thing that never faded was his confidence, and that has carried him until where he is right now, big-time contributor to the Warriors roster. And that confidence in your game is a huge factor in that. And I think that Ben Mathurin has that, and it's really carried over into the first 10 games of the season. He's averaging almost 20 points a game as a rookie. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Ben Mathurin, he's a guy who... He's really, that 3-and-D role, when you get into the NBA, we've seen for other players how it really helped him. And I think this year, he's the player in the draft who's benefited from that. Like, he's your ideal, archetypical NBA role player. And I remember we were saying that last year. And he's shown since he's gotten in the league that he has the athleticism and the skill set to be even more than that. And I think that's why he's doing so well. He's shown that he's a great shooter, and that he can take people off the dribble. He's got an NBA-ready body, too, which I think is something else that is really, really underrated about his game. It's just having that physicality already has helped his game translate so well.
Yeah, and we were talking before we went on air here that we really think Ben Mathurin has that potential to be not necessarily an MVP winner, but an MVP caliber player just because of the way his offensive output looks on the court. He can score inside and out. He is super aggressive with his shot taking. That's a really important factor because in today's NBA, if you're going to win MVP, you got to put up some points. And I think Ben Mathurin has the confidence and really just the aggression and volume shooting to put those points up on a nightly basis, especially once he establishes himself as the number one option in Indiana.
Obviously, too, another thing that I think will be important is just how he develops and what else he adds to his game. I know Jake pointed out he was looking at his shot chart, and he's kind of got the stereotypical NBA player shot chart where he just only shoots threes or he's in the paint getting layups and dunks. And I feel like he's a player who, if he adds a little bit of a mid-range game, whether it's shooting floaters or just creating from that area, I think that adding that will... I'm going to go all the way and say that will really make him an MVP-type player.
Some high praise, but he's really doing it for the Pacers right now, and especially if you're a Pacers fan, you got to be pretty excited about his future.
Well, I also know a couple Pacers fans who in the offseason were pretty depressed after they traded Malcolm Brogdon, and now you're looking at this backcourt of Tyrese Halliburton and Ben Mathurin, and you're thinking as a Pacers fan, like, wow, we have a big-time future ahead of us, especially, and back to your MVP take, playing with Tyrese Halliburton is super efficient and effective because he finds Ben Mathurin wide open and gets him in spaces that a lot of other point guards can't. So that could contribute as well to the MVP case with him getting open shots.
And Tyrese, he's just a player who's going to have like 10 assists a game. So he's someone who's going to prioritize the people around him and not himself. And I think that once Ben... I don't think Ben's really even starting right now, but say like next year or even later this year when he really is, and he's shooting more shots and he's more familiar with his game and what works, I think that duo is going to be scary, and I think Ben is going to be scary. So